Unlock Your Potential podcast, where we focus on creating positive, productive, and profitable workplaces. I am your host, Michael Sherlock. I am a leadership and sales expert, best known for being serious about business, despite what you may think by my appearance of often very colorful hair and sometimes crazy shoes. My guests bring a wealth of information that will support your career and your business, along with many pearls of wisdom to support balance in your personal and professional lives. Listen in as I have another amazing conversation with a guest who will certainly shock your potential. Ishwarya Lakshmi is a super mom and a power success coach. Experiencing motherhood, as she likes to say, is challenging, and we all know that it is. And those challenges made her aware of her abilities and her purpose in life. And from that, she's actually developed her own empowerment formula called Date with Fate. So all those little letters have a little period after them. So there's probably more story there. It's based on her own life experiences, but it uses a formula where it helps people to really create power success outcomes. And she uses that for her coaching and consulting clients. This helps her turn their inner voice on and listen to it, which enables us all to do wonders in every aspect of our life. Her vision by 2025 is to empower 5,000 women to lead a powerful family and successful, passionate, and professional life with an abundance of love and inspiring power balance. So Aishwarya, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's a prestige for me and to be here in your show today.
Excellent. Well, tell us a little bit. I gave kind of the highlights from your bio, but tell us in your own words a little bit more about you and your business and how you help people to shock their potential.
Yeah, I'm Ishwarya Lakshmi from London, and I'm a certified life coach, international best-selling author of the book Date with Fate, and the designer of the Power Success and Empowerment System for Supermoms. So my transformational journey started when I became a new mom while experiencing severe postpartum depression and
Mm.
its consequences in my relationships, be it health or career or in every segment. I have come a long way since then. To help you all understand about me better, I'm going to share three quick points with you all. I enjoy a powerful married life with my husband, and we together have a cute toddler to keep us super busy always. We learned to respect each other by valuing our dreams and supporting our actions to have a balanced and harmonious life and a thriving career.
Mm.
And using the same system that I'm sharing with my clients today in my business, I have transformed myself from a confused, overwhelmed, guilt stuck mother with relationship issues, blaming fate and myself for months together, leading a robotic life with a white collar job in hand, to an empowered super mom with better clarity, daring actions, transcended emotions, with awareness of my needs. I have redesigned my life with a 360-degree of transformation to find my life's purpose. And from my own challenges, I have aligned my actions towards my life purpose to breathe inner freedom. And that's how I also understand what self love is all about.
Mm.
So, if you want to know more about me, please do read my international best-selling book, Date with Fate, where I have spoken about my own transformational journey in detail.
Excellent.
So, with respect to my business, that is what I do. As I told, yeah, I'm ahead to empower 5,000 women, and I truly believe every mother has a wonderful potential within her, and balancing life and having it all is not a myth. So I think every when nature gives us the scope to create a new soul within our mother, definitely nature also shows a good way for us to forward to have a well balanced life as well. But the base is all about creating a powerful family life. Only with that, it will be really easy for us to have a well balanced and a successful things in our professional life as well. Most of us, what we do, we miss out our family life and we go behind success in our professional lives, or we focus more in the family and we forget about our dreams in our
Hmm.
life. But all that, I'm willing to talk to every mother through this podcast, through your wonderful podcast is, please, you have a better potential. So start shocking your potential.
I love it. I'm really glad that you share, the reality of, just even highlighting postpartum depression, because I'm so thankful that we're at a point where we can talk about this more openly and honestly as a culture, as a world, as world culture, because it is very real. And you also referenced, feelings of guilt. And I always laugh because I'm often telling the story about, how I couldn't ever guilt my son. And I've had people say, why would you want to guilt them? And like, that's how I was raised. It worked for me. But I say it in
Correct.
jest now because I don't believe that's the way that we should operate. I just happen to be, like many, raised in a Catholic guilt family. But coming to grips with, the reality of the stress of being a mother, and a father too. But, I think from historically, women feel like you have to either do it all or you have to have one or the other. And you feel
Correct.
guilty if you're torn between the two and you're trying to do them both. So, how did you find that peace within yourself? I know you talk about it obviously in your book, but, give us some little pointers on how do you start to find that place in your mind where you're like, okay, you know what? I'm good just the way I am.
That's a great question, Michael. Definitely. The first thing is peace comes with acceptance. And most of the mothers, what we do is our reality is something different, and whatever is our expectation and the realities is far more away from what is that we are doing today. And so, and we want always to be perfect in whatever we do, be it in motherhood or be it in our professional life. And this perfectionism, that or the definition that we give for this perfectionism, is just killing ourselves.
Hmm.
Okay. So what is that I feel is, self love can do wonders. First and foremost, accept the person that you are, and you are doing a great job. Please don't compare yourself with other mothers. We
Mm.
don't know what is that they are undergoing, what is their support system, how is that they are able to do better or less than you. So
Hmm.
please don't ever compare yourself with anybody, and start accepting yourself. And that's where the budding nature of the self love comes out.
Mm.
So, with that, you get peace as well, and you become your better self. And with that, there is a lot of progress in your life.
I absolutely agree, and it's so much harder today. We say this all the time. It's harder today with social media because, it's like whatever you see somebody else doing online, on Facebook or Instagram or even on LinkedIn, you're like, that person has it all together. But we only show those perfect moments or those perfect seconds. And we don't see the other, 23 hours and 58 minutes of the day where there's no perfection.
That's true.
And so if we're trying to compare ourselves all the time to those moments and seconds of perfection in other people, it is really easy to start to think that you're not as good or you're not worth it or you're not doing something right. And self-love really has to come out of that constant dialogue to remind yourself that's a film reel. That's that's the highlight reel. That's not the everyday.
Yes, you have to be with awareness. This is real and that is real. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, real and real. Use it the two terms. I agree. I love it. Well, and I was thinking too as you were talking, I recently got back from taking care of my grandchildren for a week. And the difference as a parent that I am as a grandparent versus when I was a young mother and working and having all the stresses of life at that time and worrying about money and trying to do it all. Boy, I'm a much better grandparent than I ever was a parent. But there's so much, not only wisdom, but I can make them when I'm there, I can make them my focus. And it's a real joy to see that now. And I wish sometimes I could just tell my son and his girlfriend that just relax. You're doing a great job. You are
Right.
doing it. You are there.
Right, right. At least today you are there to tell them those good words. Might be in your most toughest days, you wouldn't have had a person to tell that, right?
That's true.
So that has given you a lot of maturity and wisdom today. And we can take it both positive and negative in a
Yes.
same balance. Right.
Yes, it's great when you are working with your clients and you're helping them to find this within themselves. What are some of the sticking points that they face? What are the things that keep them from going, "Okay, I know I should feel better about myself. I know I should be empowered, but, what are the things that come after but?"
The main problem that I see in all my clients is, yes, they know what they have to do, but the in-depth clarity is not there, and they always focus what I need to do outwards, right?
Mm.
So how can I fix my spouse? How can I fix my boyfriend? How can I really help my children to listen to me? Well, what is that I am asking is, how, when you are not able to listen to your own self, your own inner voice, when you are not able to see the child that is craving within you for the self love, and give that most important thing to your own body, mind, and soul, how can you expect somebody else who's just outside of you, who's
Mhm.
a new individual, how can you expect all your expectations to be fulfilled from them, the outer world?
Mhm.
So that is the first breakthrough that they happen to see when they are with me. From then on, they start understanding how important is the inner world is, how important is the intuitive voice that is within them. So Michael, I'm just going to tell you one simple thing: the best ever help that you can get from someone at any point of your time is you. If you can strongly connect and rightly tune your inner voice with trust, it can do wonders for you in every aspect of your life, for sure.
Mhm.
So that strengthening that ability within yourself is the need of the heart, is what I feel. Be it motherhood or others, but especially mothers need it the most, because they become more vulnerable after becoming a mother.
Yes, that's absolutely true. I just had another guest on where we were talking about the same thing, and the comment was basically, if we actually taped the voice that we talk to ourself in and we played it and heard it, we'd be a lot nicer to ourselves. We would use better words. We would use better things to say because it would shock us that the things we tell ourselves in our minds are not things we'd ever say to anybody else. Yet the most important person that we're telling them to is ourselves, and you can't fix anybody else until you fix this, but
Correct.
but you also can't embrace anybody else fully until you embrace, our own selves as well.
That's very true. And there is another problem that with most of the mothers, we always want to see ourselves as a positive human being.
Mhm.
Every human being has both positives and negatives, right? When see, for example, we give birth to a child, and if the child is beautiful to others eyes or not, for our eyes our child is the most beautiful human being on this earth, right?
Yes.
So both positives and negatives with respect to all aspects of our child's well-being, we just embrace it as a whole. But then why we are not embracing our own positives and negatives? That is
Yes.
also my question. That also comes with self-love.
Yeah, that is true. And it's interesting. I think I was just telling this story also maybe in one of these this month's podcast, but I was telling the story about spending time with my grandchildren. So my grandson is 6, and he didn't eat his lunch a couple of days when I was taking care of him. And I asked him when I realized it, I said, "Why didn't you eat lunch?" And I probably had my face with this expression that's, like, because I was puzzled. And he goes, "I'm sorry, grandma. I'm sorry, grandma." And I realized he thought he was going to be in trouble or something. And I said, "Honey, you're not in trouble. It's okay that you didn't. I just wanted to know, should I make a different kind of sandwich? Just what do you want?" And it was that dynamic of thinking about how many times I might have said to my son, "Why can't you clean your room?" or "Why can't you do this?" And now if I could go back and go, "Okay, honey, I don't really care if you clean the room, just close the door."
Just relax on life, right?
Like,
Right.
because I
Hmm.
had a I had a messy room when I was a child. He had a messy room. I don't care. At that time I did, but I was trying to change him rather than me just say, "What does it matter whether he has a clean room? Close the door and don't look at it."
And yes, Michael, one more thing: when we do and our inward actions perfectly right, the all our outward people also get aligned to our inward actions. For example, when I became very good to me, and
Mm,
the people who see me and is all different, and even my child wants to imitate just like me, and he wants to become a best self to himself. So
mm.
it is all just a reflection. So if
Yeah.
we want to chill ourselves, if we want to make ourselves happy, then definitely it will be easy for our children also to be happy.
I love it. I agree so much because they want to model what they see. And if you're
Correct.
stressed and you're unhappy with yourself and you're always comparing yourself to others, that's what they're going to do as well. I made so many of those mistakes as a young mother. I'm a firm believer, to your point, that the way we operate, the way we interact with people tells what's going on inside. So, I truly believe that leading with love, kindness, awareness, whatever it is truly a competitive advantage because I think that people who lead with love are more aware. So, what are your tips for my listeners and viewers to really embrace that and really look at leading with love as something that they can really benefit from as well?
Okay. So first and foremost, I will talk about the good things that I'd come along with self-love. Okay.
Mm.
When we start embracing our own self, at first thing that happens within ourselves is we start feeling enough for ourselves. We will start enjoying the company of our own self. Most of us have this problem. We don't want to feel lonely because we feel miserable within. We feel miserable with our own self being lonely, right? So
Right.
the first great thing that happens is you start enjoying your own company, and once that is done, you will do only those things that gives happiness to you. So when you start loving yourself, you also want to give that space to any other individual, be it your son, your daughter, or your spouse, or any other person in your professional life as well. You respect them for what they are, because you respect yourself for what you are. That is the first thing. and
Mhm.
and and because of all these three things, the whole world start becoming and a better place to live with, right? So
Yes.
the three most important tips that I'm willing to share with anybody is: start practicing acceptance. Accept
Mhm.
the unchangeable, change the changeable, and remove yourself from the unchangeable. Practice forgiveness. It is extremely important for you to forgive others for your own benefit, for your own self love. Otherwise, you're just going to be hooked on with the same emotions. Third one is start listening to your angelic inner voice. And do you live a life that is very progressive, that is helping you to be very confident, calm, and peaceful? Then it means that you have already activated your angelic inner voice and you're doing a good job there. If not, if you are having a lot of fears, anxieties, or guilt feeling, then it means that your overprotective inner voice has taken over you. Take some help and start working on your inner world. And once you really activate that angelic inner voice, then it will do so much of miracles for you.
I love it. I think that forgiveness and acceptance of ourselves, is so important because it also allows us to do that for other people. It's very hard to be accepting and forgiving of others when we can't do it for ourselves first because it's kind of protection mode. It also takes practice. So I like, the concept of practice. We have to practice, practice gratitude, practice acceptance, practice forgiveness. Nobody is perfect at it because if they're perfect at it, they're probably not true in terms of
Correct.
their acceptance and forgiveness. Both of those take a lot of patience within us. I like how you said, learn from what your negative emotions are telling you because they are telling you things. They are telling you things that you need to pay attention to, not to keep them going, but to figure out what you still need to work on or where you can make some strides that will help you reach some more acceptance and forgiveness.
Yes, that's true. And please don't ever suppress your negative emotions. That is going to again and create a lot of other consequences in your life. And just accept it, listen to it. What is that it is trying, and try to heal yourself, cleanse yourself from that. Totally. Don't just try to suppress it and move away from it and try to imbibe that, yeah, my life is all good. Yes, I'm doing good. Just don't try to act on yourself. Accept
Mhm.
things, accept the reality, work it out to ensure that you are really living a good life. Your heart knows whether you are or not.
That is true. Absolutely. It's interesting you say that because just this morning I had a very interesting thing happen to me. I had someone who wrote a scathing remark about me on a website that we're a part of association together. And what he wrote was untrue. For a long time today, this morning, I was thinking, why did this happen? Why would this person write this? What is going on? And eventually he removed the post because not only did I respond, and I feel like I responded appropriately, but said, here's you are absolutely wrong. And you are you are dragging my name through the dirt, which it does not belong. So that's not a good idea. But I also said, I made the comment, I said, if your intent was to humiliate me and shame me, it worked. Congratulations. Not that I'm ashamed of anything that I've done, but writing those words was really interesting to me because when I put them in words and I hit send, then I was like, okay, now all that stuff that was burrowing inside of me has been released a little bit. So it's like letting it go. I had to acknowledge that he embarrassed me. He humiliated with me in a course of people that
Right.
I know and respect. But when I let that go is when I finally said, okay, I'm going to take this out of my head today. Otherwise, it's going to be a focal point, but I have to acknowledge the emotion that I'm really feeling. And that emotion is not a good one. And I think to your point, then I just keep reminding myself, look, you do a great job. People like you. You're doing wonderful things.
Yes,
But it takes, when you've had negative stuff in there, it almost takes 10 times as many positive things to get
correct.
you and keep you on a positive track. It's a lot easier to stay on a negative track.
That's true. And if you can and allow me, can I give you a small tip for you for
Yes,
whatever that
please.
has happened to you today? Okay,
Yes.
there are a lot of thank you for that. And there are a lot of people who are miserable within themselves, and they somehow want to make others also miserable, and it is not their fault too. And because they have
Yeah.
seen life through that point of that kind of a lens all these years, and we don't know what is that is happening in their life currently, what had made them to write those things for us today. But then,
Yes.
and the reality is not that, and the truth is also we are also affected with it. And
Mhm.
as you said, yes, you have acknowledged it. And the most easy thing for you to really come out of it without using the 10 times of positivity to get yourself out of it is simply, once you have reply to that comment, and
Mhm.
if it is still dragging all your emotions, sit, write a letter to your own self,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
At Hi Michael, yes, such things has happened to me today, but this is not the truth. The inner feeling will tell who the person you are. You can just write a letter, and you also can say, Ed, I forgive you, that particular person. You
Mhm.
might have done certain things out of blues, or out of your own negative emotions, whatever has happened within you, we don't know. So I'm forgiving you totally.
Yeah.
To give that forgiveness instantly, a letter of that sort will really help. And with that as an add on, and scribble over that letter and ensure that is completely erased from your subconscious mind immediately, and you are completely out of it, and burn that letter into ashes and flush it out.
I like it. I think I'll do that as soon as we're done taping.
No,
And
that really no, does wonders, And
yeah,
when I started this coaching and I understood all these tools, and I started writing letters for more than 10 pages, 20 pages, I scribbled over it because I realized that I had so many things that is within me that I'm not ready to forgive.
yeah.
I was not ready to forgive those persons in my life. But then when I really did that, I felt I finally forgiven myself. And
Mhm.
that is when, after 10 years of long at a pause in my life, long negativity in my life, I started smiling again like a child.
Mm.
That's why
Ah.
I'm telling this with such a strong voice and confidence. It will do wonders for you. Please do try it out.
And that makes a lot of sense because I can see, writing it down physically, not typing it, but writing it with a pen.
Yeah.
There's something that happens with our brain. But I've never thought, I mean, I've thought about ripping it up and burning it, but I've never thought about what that psychological click would be from scribbling it out, because what you're doing is you are then saying, I am no longer going to see this. So I'm not
Yes.
just going to burn it and make it just kind of go away. I'm going to erase this. I'm going to take this away from my mental space. I like that. I think that's a really great concept. I promise I shall do that today. Gosh, we could talk about this all day because this is now I've had my own little therapy session. So thank you. And I know we'll have all of your contact information on our show notes, but in case somebody wants to look you up right now because they want to get your book or they want to find you as a potential coach, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Okay, so I'm active in all my social media handles, or aishalakshmi.com is my website.
Excellent. I love it. Well, before we go, do you have any last words of wisdom or pearls of advice for my listeners and viewers?
So So every mother is a super mom, Michael, for sure. But the need for using the adjectives like super is that many times, because of too many roles and responsibilities we perform, we become cranky like our own children, forget our own true self, and miss out on our life. Unfortunately, it happens forever too for someone. So calling super mom helps you to recognize your own true potentials, what you are capable of, and that in turn will help you take action, ask for help, and lead a balanced life. Asking for help is like very, very, very important. After become a mother, for 30 days I cried and cried and cried because I don't know how to ask for help, to whom for ask help and all of it. But the day that I realized asking help is going to do wonders, I became vulnerable. I started reaching out to every possible person in my community, spoke out what is that exactly happening within me and in my circumstances. That's when life started changing. Please do ask for help, be open, be vulnerable, definitely have a good intention behind all your actions. Only then the universe will work for you and help you to lead a much, much better life. The basic of all of these things is you should definitely be willing to lead a good life. You should definitely have that intention. Yes, my life has to be far better than now. I'm born with a lot of abundance, and abundance is my birthright, and I will definitely live with that.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure learning about your system, your book, and your definitely positive outlook on life. And I look forward to staying connected in the long term.
I wish all lot of good luck, good health, prosperity, and abundance in your life and all your viewers' life as well.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Shock Your Potential podcast. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and like us today.